Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, Trina. Good to see you. Dr. Rainey. Good to see you. Thank you all for joining in today. Give me about a minute and then we will get started. No, I try to start on time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the intro and then whoever else needs to come on, they will. Okay, welcome to the Power Chat. Basically, the Power Chat is a session that I do every Saturday. I try to be here weekly unless something else comes up, engagement or whatever, but every Saturday. And what I do is I come on and I share wisdom nuggets, insights, motivation, inspiration from various topics from my books, concepts from my books. Um, Sometimes not in the books, but for the most part, a lot of my concepts are in my books, which is at tamikaford.com. And so I come on and I bring encouragement, motivation, inspiration. My goal is to empower you. My goal is to empower you, to encourage you, to motivate you, and to inspire you on whatever journey that you may be on in this season, or maybe just spiritually revive you. And so that is my goal, whatever journey that you're on, and that may be personal development. You may be trying to grow. You may be trying to get better with your family. It could be your ministry, your business. It could be your destiny, your purpose, your identity. Whatever you're growing in, we about growth with the Power Chats. We all about growth. We're all about elevation. We're all about going to new levels. We're about expanding. We're about expanding our minds, expanding our perceptions, expanding our perspectives. That's what we're about on the Power Chats. So if you're one of those people that want to grow and you want to elevate and you want to do better in whatever endeavor that you're involved in, I hope that I'm adding fuel to your journey, that I'm adding fuel to the fire that you've already started. So that is my goal. That is my mission. This is one of my assignments in this season, is to sit here and do these Power Chats weekly, and they are a blessing to me, and I hope that they are a blessing to you. And so with that being said, let's get to part four. Part four, I know we're still on preparing for next. Let me tell you, God just keep giving me these subtitles to go with the preparing for next, and all of these things are things or challenges that have to be overcome and dealt with as we prepare for next. They all are a part of us preparing for next. And so we're in part four. For the sake of time, I won't do a recap today. So let's just get into it. Part four of preparing for next, with the subtitle is stewardship management. Now, this will challenge all of us, for whatever areas that maybe you need to elevate in your stewardship. So it can be a challenging subject, but again, I'm here to empower you. I'm here to empower you. And of course, you know, I don't really sugarcoat, but I'm here to empower you and to challenge you, not to pick out flaws in your life or to say, oh, you need to do this. But my goal is to help you to be better, to become the better version of you, the greater version of you, all that God has created and intended for you to become. That's my goal. That's my desire, is for you to be on another level, so that your kids and your kids' kids, from generation to generation, that you've made an impact with your life to all the people that's down the line. That's my goal. And we can't do that if we're not better, if we're not elevating, if we're not growing. And so that's what I'm here to do. So let's get into it. So we're talking about stewardship today, management. How well do you manage? Now, management encompasses every area of your life. It encompasses every area of your life. How well do you manage? And let me say this, preparing for next involves you managing where you are, what you have, and the assignment that has been given to you in this season. We're talking about management. We're talking about stewardship. Managing, I'm talking about it encompasses every area of your life. What you have, where you are, and the assignment that you've been given in this season. How well do you manage? Are you a good steward? How are you managing what's been given to you? How are you managing what God has entrusted you with? And let's just be honest about it. There's areas that we're all struggling in. There's areas that I'm a work in progress. There's areas that I've mastered, that I'm disciplined in, and there's areas that I'm still working in. But guess what? As long as you are in pursuit, as long as you haven't given up on it, and you're still trying to become a good manager, a good steward over everything that God has entrusted you with that's in your life, as long as you're in pursuit, you're good. Because we all have areas that we're work in progress. But I got to get to the next level in that area. So guess what? I have to continue to be in pursuit. I have to continue to try to work it out and become a better manager and a good steward in that area, whether it's finances, relationships, whatever area it may be. So as long as you're in pursuit, so don't feel bad, don't get down on yourself if you feel like you're not a good steward in some areas, because there are certain areas that you're just working on as long as you're in pursuit. As long as you're in pursuit. I just made me think about health. Hey, Coach Young, one of mine is health. Is eating better and getting better in my health. That's a pursuit. I want to be a good steward. I want to be a good manager over my health, over my body. So whatever area you're working on, just stay in pursuit and it will happen. Because one of the keys to management, to elevation and advancement and increase is management. It's one of the keys. It's a great key to our advancement, to our increase. How well do you manage? Now, let me give you a definition of stewardship. Stewardship means to manage someone else's property or resources, because in the kingdom, we own nothing. Stewardship is to manage someone else's property or resources. The biblical definition is utilizing and managing all resources God provides for the glory of God and the betterment of his creation. The biblical definition is utilizing, basically you using and managing everything that God provides, the resources that God provides for the glory of God and the betterment of his creation. That's the definition. In other words, we're called to be good stewards over everything that he's given us, over everything that he has entrusted to us. Are you a good manager? Because in the kingdom, we own nothing. We're called simply to be managers. We're called to be good stewards. It all belongs to God. Everything comes from God and belongs to God. We own nothing. He owns everything. Are you a good manager? Because we're just stewards over everything that he's entrusted to us. The word says all things were created by him, through him, and for him. Christ owns everything. He owns everything, and that's the way we have to look at it. You don't even own your own life. If you're a part of the kingdom family, you've been bought with a price. You've been bought and purchased with the blood of Christ. So you don't even own your own life. Your body and your life has been purchased. You've been bought with a price. You belong to God. So you don't even own your own life. How well are you managing your life? Are you a good steward over your life? Because he owns it all. The word says the earth is the Lord and everything in it. And everything in it. But it also says that he's given the earth to mankind to be good stewards. He's given the earth to mankind to manage and to be good stewards, but everything belongs to him. He owns it, but he's giving you dominion. He's giving you power. He's giving you authority. Take dominion. He says, I've given the earth to mankind. Now take dominion. Be good stewards over what I've entrusted you with. Be good stewards over everything that you have. Take dominion. And that word dominion just means to govern, to rule, to control, to master, to manage. That's what it means to take dominion. Well, what am I mastering? Master what? Manage what? Govern what? Your world. He said, manage your world. Control your world. Take dominion over your world. He said, rule your world. Govern and manage how you spend your time. What are you doing with your time? He said, govern your time. Hey, Apostle Williams, good to see you. He said, manage it, take dominion. Are you a good manager? Are you mastering your finances, your resources, your relationships, your connections? He said, dominate. He said, take dominion and authority over it. He said, govern your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. Are you mastering your calling? Are you governing your calling properly? He said, take dominion. Be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. In other words, add value to what you have been given. Add value to it. Be fruitful and multiply. Add value to that job that you've been blessed with, that profession that you're on. Add value to the people that you're over and leading. Add value to your kids. Add value to your spouse. Add value to that marriage. Add value to your connections and your relationships. He said, be fruitful and multiply. That means add value to what you've been given. Are you adding value to it? To your opportunities, adding value to your gift. And the only way you can bear fruit is that you have to sow seed. That's in every area of your life. In order for you to bear fruit, you have to sow seed. Everything we do is a seed. Everything we do is a seed. How you invest your time is a seed. Your talent is a seed. Your finances is a seed. Your kindness and your honor toward other people is a seed. You want people to honor you and respect you. Are you sowing honor? Are you giving honor? Because if you're sowing favor and you're sowing honor, honor comes back to you. People respect you because that's what you're sowing in your life. Your honor is a seed. Your kindness is a seed. Your service is a seed. Your preparation is a seed into your future. Everything you do is a seed. Your words are a seed. Your conversations are seeds. And you have to look at it like this. When I got this revelation, everything you do is a seed. The knowledge that you gain, the knowledge that you pursue, the knowledge that you go after is a seed to bring about a change in your life. Everything you do is a seed. Everything you do, your kindness, your giving, your loving and treating people. You treat people right, you're kind. That's a harvest you can expect. That's a harvest that's coming back to you. We got to be challenged on this. This can be challenging, but it's necessary. Everything you do is a seed. When you make decisions, that's a seed. Your decisions are a seed. You're planting seed with your decisions. There's going to reap an outcome. There's going to reap a consequence, good or bad. So we can't be casual about our decisions. We can't be casual about the choices that we make, because when you make a decision, you're sowing a seed that's going to later reap an outcome. My life, the condition of my life, where I am in life is just an accumulation of the seeds that I've sown, the decisions that I've made, because my decisions are seeds. My decisions are seeds. You don't want to mismanage your decisions, because you're going to reap an unfavorable outcome. You're going to reap an unfavorable consequence, a negative consequence, if you're not sowing the right seeds in your decision making. Don't mismanage your decisions. That's a spiritual law. That's a kingdom principle. God will not be mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that is what he reaps. Don't mismanage your decisions. Don't mismanage your choice. Don't mismanage your relationships and your connections. Don't mismanage your gifts and talents and callings. Don't mismanage the people that you called to serve. Don't mismanage your words and your conversations, because your words can either build up or tear down. They can elevate somebody or degrade somebody. They can help progress a person or regress a person. Your words are seeds. Don't mismanage your words. Don't mismanage your conversation. What type of seeds are you sowing with your words? Are they seeds of kindness, seeds of honor and patience? You got to manage your wisdom. You can't just be throwing your pearl before swine and giving it to anybody. If they're not soliciting your wisdom, don't give unsolicited wisdom. You better manage your wisdom. Manage the knowledge that you have. And I know we want to help people and give it out, and that's fine, but there are some people, you're wasting your wisdom. I don't believe in unsolicited wisdom. I'm not giving you wisdom if I don't see that you need or you won't. I'm sorry, you don't want the wisdom. So manage your wisdom, or you'll just be throwing it away. You got to manage your wisdom. You got to manage your health. Do you know we're called to be a good steward over our bodies, to be a good steward over our health? Remember, it doesn't belong to us. When you eat right, that's a seed you're sowing. When you exercise, that's a seed. When you're doing resistance training, that's a seed. You're sowing seed into your body so that you can harvest a healthy body, and you can harvest feeling better, and you can harvest looking better, and you can harvest stronger muscles. Everything you do is a seed. So when I eat right and I'm exercising, that's a seed that I'm sowing into my health, because I want to reap good health. I want to harvest good health. Expect your harvest. Expect a harvest. And if you're not getting the harvest that you desire, if you're not reaping what you desire, well, I don't know why they're talking about me all the time. I don't know why they're dishonoring me. Maybe you got to go check the seed. What type of seeds are you sowing? Check the seed. And we know those kind of things will happen, but as long as you know you haven't sown the wrong seeds, then you may need to go repent and then change and make a change with how you're sowing that particular seed. If you're not getting what you expect in a certain area, go check the seed. What type of seeds are you sowing in that area? You're called to be a good steward and a good manager over everybody that God has positioned in your life, your divine connections. Be a good steward over your kids, over your family, over your nieces and your nephews, over your connections, over that business, over that organization, over whoever you're leading, whoever you're over. Be a good steward over those people. Don't take that for granted. Don't take them for granted. You got to be a good steward. How are you managing your current season? Let me ask you that. How are you managing your current season? Are you a good steward over the season that you're in? What has God assigned you to do? How are you managing your current season? Are you resisting the season, fighting the season? Are you murmuring, complaining, and grumbling? God, I'm tired of this season. Take me out of this season. It's dark. It's adversity. I'm ready for a new level. I'm ready for a new dimension. Because you're wasting time if you're doing that. You're delaying your next level. You're delaying your progress. How are you managing your current season? Or you just walking on through what you need to walk through? Or you overcoming what you need to overcome? Are you taking care of the responsibilities that you need to take care of? Are you managing and being a good steward over that? How are you managing the season? Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you investing in your personal development? How are you managing the current season? Are you maximizing it? Are you asking God for greater responsibility, but you're not managing the responsibility that you have in this season, on this level? It's tight, but it's right. How are you managing your current season? And this is a great one right here. We have to be good stewards over our mind. Be a good steward over your thinking. How are you managing your mind, your feelings, and your emotions? Are you allowing your emotions to run rampant? Or you allowing your feelings to be in the driver's seat of your life and run your life and guide your life? How are you managing your mind, your feelings, and your emotions? You're called to be a good steward over your mind. Well, I can't help what I think, Dr. Ford. I can't help the thoughts that, let me tell you something, they can come. The thoughts can pass through. People can plant thoughts. They can sow seeds, but you do have control over what you allow to stay in your mind. You have control over what you meditate on, what you sit and stew and brew on, what you hold captive. You have control over that, what you nurse and what you nurture. Why are you nurturing those thoughts? Why are you sitting there meditating on that? No, that's not doing anything for you but making you angry, making your feelings come out unglued. Why are you sitting there meditating on that? Why are you sitting there thinking on that? That's why the word says think on these things. Evidently, you got control of it. He said, govern your world, dominate your thoughts, take dominion over your thoughts, take authority over your thoughts. You don't have to allow thoughts to just run rampant. You don't have to allow that. You take dominion over your thoughts. You release them, cast it down. If it's not in agreement with where you're going, if it's not in agreement with who you are becoming, you better cast those thoughts down, because we're called to be a good steward over our thoughts, called to be good stewards over our thinking. The word says, think on these things, whatsoever is pure and lovely and just, that's worthy of praise, that's virtuous. He said, think on these things. You better replace those thoughts. What are you feeding your mind? Because you can't afford to be feeding your mind junk. You cannot afford to be feeding your mind in everything. You got to manage it. You got to be a good steward of it. Because what you feed your mind is what you become. Your mindset produces a lifestyle. What you feed your mind is what you become. Yes, bring them under subjection, Dr. Rainey. What you feed your mind is what you become. So what are you feeding your mind? Your mindset produces a lifestyle. And that involves what you read, what you're listening to, what you're watching, who you're listening to, who's influencing you, who you're lending your ears to, who's speaking over your life, who's speaking into your life, who's in your environment, who's in your conversations. Let me tell you something. You got to guard and be a good manager over all of that. Because I'm going to tell you, through these channels are where the seeds are sown. Seeds are sown and planted through the things you read and watch, through the people that you listen to, who gives you counsel, who gives you advice, who gives you wisdom. Is it coming from truth? Is it founded in truth? Who's giving you counsel and advice? Who's influencing you? Who's speaking into your life? Because those things are feeding your mind. It's feeding your mind. And you're called to be a good steward over your mind. Let me tell you something about conversations. You have to be careful with conversation. There are some conversations you just have to go ahead and stop, because when you're in conversations, you're planting seeds, they're planting seeds, and if the seeds that they're planting, they're not lining up with what you believe in your values. I'm not talking about agree to disagree. We all can agree to disagree, but I'm talking about core values. I'm talking about beliefs. I'm talking about morals. I'm talking about what you stand for. And if you know somebody way out there and they're talking about things that don't align with who you're becoming, that's not in alignment with what you've been called to be and what you've been called to do, you may need to cut that conversation short. You know why? Let me tell you this. In your conversations, when you're having conversations with other people, and when they're sowing seed, you are getting their thoughts. You're getting their beliefs. You're getting their opinions, their philosophies, their perceptions, their perspectives. You're getting all of that in a conversation. Oh yeah, they're downloading to you their thoughts, their opinions, their beliefs, their perceptions, their philosophies, their perspectives. And if it ain't in alignment with what you believe, then you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Because I don't want the wrong thing planted. The word says guard your heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. You let that stuff take root in your heart, it becomes an issue in your life. And you're like, where did this come from? It was planted. That got me sweating. Where did it come from? It was planted. It was planted. And if the wrong thing is planted in your heart and your mind, you better uproot it. You better release it. You better uproot it. Don't allow that seed to take root. It's all about management. It's all about good stewardship. And when you're a good steward and you're a good manager, you don't have to ask and beg God for more. You will attract more. When you're a good steward and you're a good manager over everything you have, your mind, your body, your resources, your friends, your connections, your kids, your marriage, when you're a good steward, let me tell you something, you don't have to go begging God. We kingdom children, we don't need to be begging. First off, we don't even need to be doing that anyway in prayer. We need to be declaring and taking authority. What's already been spoken over us, what's already been declared and given to us. So we don't even need to be doing that anyway. But I know sometimes you may get tempted. God, I need more. And God, give me this. And I want more friends and more relationships. Let me tell you something. When you're a good manager and you're a good steward, you don't have to beg and ask God for more. You will attract more into your life. You're going to attract increase. You're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract the right connections. When you're a good manager and a good steward, you're going to attract more into your life. So you don't have to beg for more. It's attracted to you. It's attracted to you because how you're handling what you have. The word says whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much. So if you're a good steward with little, you're going to be a good steward with much. But it says if you're dishonest with a little, then you're going to be dishonest with much. So if you're not faithful with the little business, if you're not faithful with the position on the job that you have right now, if you're not a good steward over the relationships and the people in your life, don't tell God when you give me more, then I'm going to do better. When you give me more, I'm going to give more. And I'm going to help this organization. And I'm going to give into the kingdom. And I'm going to help, the homeless. And I'm going to build that business. God, I just got to get more. You know what? He don't have to answer you because he already know that if you're not faithful in the little, you're not going to be faithful in the much. It's a spiritual principle. So we don't even have to ask that. All we have to do is look at how are you faithful with the little? Are you managing the little? Are you a good steward with the little? Whatever, the little this, the little that, whatever it is, are you a good steward? Because I know we do that. We'll ask God, when you give me this and you give me more, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to start doing this. And God is like, no, you're not. I'm like, no, you're not. Because I'm seeing what you're doing and what you are. What are you doing with what's already in your hand? What are you doing with what he's put in your hand? What are you doing with that? Are you bearing fruit and multiplying? Are you adding value to what you already have? What are you doing with what you got? You better work it. You better work it. However you need to work it, you better work it. The vision he gave you, you better work it. The business he gave you, you better work it. The position he gave you, you better work it. Go ahead and become a good steward over it. Don't wait till I get more and I'm going to do it then, because God is looking at you and saying, no, you're violating the principle. You're violating the spiritual law. You will not do better. You will not do better. So if God can trust you with the small matters, the small assignments, the small resources, the small exposure, the small influence, the small crowd, come on, then he can trust you with more. He can make you ruler over much. He can make you, well, you may say, I want to lead more people. I want more people on my live videos, and I want to be a greater leader. I want to lead more people, and I want a greater responsibility. Okay. How are you managing the people that he's given to you? How are you managing the people that he sent to you already? Because if you're mismanaging the little people that you have now, and when I mean little, like few, not calling the people little, but if you're managing the few people you have now, you mismanaging, why should God put you over hundreds and thousands of people? Why should he allow you to influence hundreds of thousands? Why should he allow you to speak into hundreds of thousands of people if you're not managing the few that you already have? I want greater responsibility. Okay, let me ask you this. Are you increasing your capacity? Because if you want greater responsibility, when you go to a new level, a new dimension, it comes with greater responsibility. So you want greater responsibility, but do you have the capacity to handle greater responsibility? Can you manage it? Can you handle it? Can you? Because when your capacity is increased, then you can handle more, manage more, and endure more. God can trust you with more. So if you want greater responsibility, this is what I tell you: go ahead and work on increasing your capacity. Are you investing in yourself? Are you personally developing? Are you growing? Are you reading? Are you studying? Are you doing what you can do to increase your capacity? That's how you get greater responsibility. I want more opportunities. I want more connections. I want more talent. I want to be connected to some people. Well, what are you doing with the opportunities that you have right now? Because I know when I get opportunities, and I hope this is what you do or start doing, operate in it with a spirit of excellence. What are you doing with the opportunities that come up? Are you like, oh, that's just a small opportunity. I'm waiting on a greater opportunity. What are you doing with the small opportunity? Come on. I don't care how small I don't care how small the opportunity is. I'm going to give it all. I don't care if it's one person on this live. I'm going to give it all I got. You got to operate in a spirit of excellence with everything he has given you. With everything he has given you. So when you have opportunities, are you adding value to that opportunity? Are you operating in a spirit of excellence? Are you honoring that opportunity? Are you honoring the people that gave you that opportunity? Are you adding value to it? What are you doing with that opportunity? Because I'm going to tell you, it matters. It's showing how good of a steward you are. Are you going above and beyond? I don't care what opportunity I get. I'm going to give you excellence. I'm going to bring all of me. I'm going to give you all of it and some. Whatever opportunity. Are you maximizing your opportunity? Why should God give us more, y'all? Y'all. Why should God give us more? Why should God give us increase? Why should he expand our territory, enlarge our borders if we're mismanaging? Why should he do that? If we're not managing what we already have, why should he do that? God doesn't honor poor management. God doesn't promote mismanagement. God doesn't honor poor stewardship. He doesn't elevate poor stewardship. He doesn't do it. So no, you're not waiting on God. He's waiting on your management. Y'all, this is a challenging word. And the areas that I'm still working on, because I have areas that I'm a work in progress. But you know what? I'm in pursuit. And it's challenging because there's times I'm like, God, just go ahead and do that. Give it. No, you need to manage. It's a challenge. It can be a challenge. And I know we all have areas. So how are you managing what you already have? Are you being fruitful and multiply? Because the word says be fruitful and multiply. We have a responsibility to properly manage every area of our life. Remember, I told you earlier, management encompasses every area of your life. Let me ask you this. Are you faithful? Whatever God has given you to do, whatever you're doing on your job, in your ministry, in your personal life, with your family, in the church or wherever, are you faithful? Are you a good steward on this level? In this season, with what you have right now, are you faithful? What has God instructed you to do? What has God assigned you to do in this season? Are you faithful? What He's assigned you to do in the season? Are you faithful even when you don't like it? Even when you can't, you're not feeling it? Even when your feelings and your emotions are all over the place, are you faithful to that instruction? Are you faithful to that assignment? Are you faithful to the position that you have right now? Are you faithful with the friends that He's given you? Are you faithful? Are you a good steward? That's the question I'm asking you. Are you a good steward over the gifts and talents and abilities that He's given you? Or are you looking at other people's gifts and say, I want that gift, I want more of this, God, I want more talent? Are you faithful? What are you doing with the gifts and talents and abilities that you have? Because let me tell you, I try to work with what I have. What I don't have, I don't have. What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your abilities? Are you refining your skills? Are you mastering your craft? Are you practicing? Are you reading and growing and studying, investing in your personal development so that your gift can go to another level? So that your gift can go to another level, and then you begin to attract more opportunities. You begin to attract greater influence. What are you doing with your gifts? Are you refining what you have? Are you mastering what you have? Are you practicing what you have? Are you reading so that you can increase your knowledge base? Are you studying? What are you doing with the gifts and talents and abilities that you have? Or are you just sitting around waiting on God for elevation and promotion and next level without maximizing your current season? It's not going to happen. And I'm not being negative. It's just not going to happen. Because God is about stewardship. I told you earlier, He doesn't honor mismanagement. He doesn't honor poor stewardship. He won't promote that. You may get it from somewhere else. You may get it in the world, and y'all may do what you do, and people give it to you. But he said, I'll give you riches with no sorrow. It's not kingdom. You've abandoned and forsaken the kingdom because it's not kingdom when you get it out there. But God is not going to promote that. God is not going to elevate that. So multiply. Bear fruit with what you have in this season on this level so that you can attract more, so more doors can open up, more opportunities can come to you, so that you can be elevated to another level. If you're faithful with little, he'll make you ruler over much. Remember the parable in the word with the ones that was given the talents? We're the ones with the talents and the gifts and the abilities and the treasures and all the things that God has given us. It really represents and shows us and demonstrates to us how God views management. With that parable where it says the owner, the wealthy man, went out of town, went on a journey, and he left some talents, some money or wealth or possessions, whatever you want to call it, to the three servants. He entrusted them with those gifts like God does us. He gave 1 5, he gave 1 2, and he gave 1 1 according to their ability. And that's key because God gives us things according to our ability. I want more, increase your capacity according to your ability. And when the guy got back, when the wealthy owner got back to see what they did, what was in their hand, what has already been given to them, what he entrusted them with, the one with the 5 doubled it. The one with the 2 doubled it. He said, well done. You're a faithful servant. You're a good steward. Well done. He said, you've been able to be trusted with little. So guess what? I can make you ruler over much. He said, basically, you bear fruit. You multiply what I've given you. You added value to what I've given you. So now I can entrust you with much more. I can make you ruler over much more. That's how God views it. But the one with the 1, he only had 1 and he did nothing with that. Asking for more, want to do more, and not doing nothing with the 1. With the 1. Take inventory of your life. What are you doing with the 1? With the 1. He looked at him. He said, you wicked and lazy servant. He called him wicked and lazy. You know why? Because it's ungodly to mismanage. It's ungodly to be a poor steward. Wickedness means ungodly. It's ungodly to not do what we're being called to do with what we've been getting. It's ungodly. And we've all done it in some areas. I got some areas that I'm working on because you know what? I got to go to another level in that area. I got to go to a higher dimension in that area. So I'm working it. I'm in pursuit. So it's not that I'm not trying. Because the guy said, you're wicked. You're lazy. That's ungodly when you don't manage what God has given you. And you know what he did? He took it away from him. He took it away from him. He said, give it to the ones that's doing something with it. Give it to the ones that's producing. Give it to the ones that's over here bearing fruit and multiplying and adding value to what I've given them. Well, they already got opportunities. They already got resources. They already got this number of people. They already got all of this coming in their life. And they already got this type of influence. And God is saying, I'm giving them more because they produce it. They're producing, they're bearing fruit. So he took the 1 from the one that wasn't doing anything and he gave it to the one that was producing fruit and the one that was bearing fruit, the one that was multiplying and add value. So we can't get mad when we see other people that's continuously getting opportunities and God is continuously elevating them and they're getting greater influence and they're elevating on different levels in different areas and they're leading more people or they get that promotion on the job. We cannot be mad at them because he said, guess what? Give it to the one that's producing. Give it to the one that's a good steward. Give it to the one that's a good manager. How well do you manage? And I'm closing. God is watching your faithfulness. Oh God, I thank you. If we're not, we're becoming greater stewards. God is watching your faithfulness. God is watching your faithfulness. God, help us with this. Help us in this area. Help us to be a good steward of our finances, to be a good steward of our health and our bodies, to be a good steward over our positions at work and in our business and in our small or large business that we have. Help us to be good stewards over the people that we lead, the people that we counsel, the people that we advise, the people that we're over and mentor. God, help us to be good stewards, Father, over our conversations and over our words, that we don't just speak anything and we don't just say anything, that we're mindful, that we're sowing seeds with our words, that we're sowing seeds in our conversations. So we're going to be a good steward over our words. We're going to be a good steward over our conversations. God, help us to be better managers. We want increase, God. We want to attract increase. We want to attract opportunities. We want to attract the next level, God. Lord, we're trying to go higher. We're trying to become greater. We're trying to do all that you have called and created us to do. And we don't have time to waste time. So, God, I ask that you help us, Father, that you strengthen us, and that we're focused, and that we're in pursuit in those areas that we're mismanaging, God. Lord, I thank you that we repent. We repent right now for any area that we've overlooked, for any area that we're not trying to clean up and do better in, Father. But we thank you right now. And I just declare right now, increase is coming to your life. Right now, in the name of Jesus, you're attracting more opportunities. God, in the mighty name of Jesus, you're attracting more responsibilities. God is lifting you to a higher dimension. God, we thank you right now that it's already done. We're different. We're looking at it different. We're perceiving it differently. We are good managers. So you're going to be able to tell us, well done, my good and faithful servant. Oh, God, we thank you. Sometimes our lives are not moving and shaking and growing and elevating. It's not because of the devil. It's not because of people. It's what we're allowing. It's what we're doing to ourselves. It's what we're sowing, our decisions that we're sowing, the seeds of our decisions. When we refuse to be a good manager and take care over what's in our hand, what are you doing with what's already in your hand? God is watching your face. God, I feel this. Promotion is about stewardship. And if we never get it, if we don't even try, then we're going to remain stuck in a season. And we're going to continue to be crying and begging and asking God or even other people why I'm not moving, why my season is not shifting, why I'm not elevating to higher dimensions. We're stuck in a rut because we don't realize that area that you're seeking increase in may be the very area that you need to be a better manager. You need to be a better steward. So I want you to do this. The areas that you're seeking increase, the areas that you're really wanting elevation in, that you need a change in, the areas that you're ready for the season to change in. This is what I want you to do. I want you to observe and take inventory of that area. And I want you to ask yourself this: am I being a good steward and a good manager over this area that I'm seeking increase in? How am I managing it? How am I taking care of it? Am I faithful in this area? Whatever area it may be, maybe your teaching, your business, your kids, your marriage. God, I want a better marriage. I want you to check and see, are you a good steward over that marriage? Or are you faithful with that marriage? Or are you sowing good seeds into that marriage? So I want you to do it. And it can be hard and it can be difficult. And there's times where I sit and did inventory and I just got sad. I'm like, you're not managing. This area right here, you got to be a better steward. So now when I see the temptation or there's an area that I know I'm trying to work on, I was like, no, I'm becoming a good steward. No, I'm becoming a good manager. I got to get this. I got to get this. I got some areas I'm disciplined and I mastered a lot of areas, and there's some areas that I got to get it. But as long as you stay in pursuit, God see your faithfulness. He see your willingness. He see your desire to do it, to your desire to change it, and you got grace on your life to do it. Let me tell you something. God has empowered you to do it. You can do it. So I just speak blessings over your life, that it's about to change in those areas, that you're about to get increase in those areas. And I want you to properly manage it. When God elevates you and increase you, don't slack off. I want you to continue to be a good steward and a manager. I want you to continue to be faithful. God is watching your faith. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May there be favor upon your life. And may his peace forever be with you. I love you. If this message blessed you, share it with someone. But I love you, and I'll see you next week.